Hello, everyone. My name is Veronica Ramos, and I am the Government Relations Director with MOB, Families for El Paso. Just to give a little bit of background about MOB, it was created by two amazing moms that grew up here in the Sun City, Layla Zayden Safa and Adrienne Moody. They created this group with a mission to work with local leaders and bring more family-friendly amenities to our city. And ever since they started, they've been doing just that. I direct the MOB Get Out the Vote program, where we have registered many people to vote while also increasing awareness of elections and local candidates running for office. At the local level, we've advocated for many amenities, including at the splash parks. We were able to get over $1 million allocated to the splash parks, and we've also helped to revitalize Ascarate Park by fundraising over $1 million to build an all abilities playground. And we'll soon be celebrating a ribbon cutting ceremony at the end of this year. At the state level, we were able to help draft a bill and get that passed in the House to make voting easier for families. And so today we have with us the US Congress House of Representative candidates, Veronica Escobar and Ms. Delarice Montanez Berrios. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here with us. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Veronica Escobar, as she is the incumbent and the first person on the ballot. And she's going to go ahead and give an intro, and then I'll ask her a question, and then she can give her closing. And we'll go ahead and then go on to Ms. Delarice. So without further ado, Ms. Veronica Escobar.
Thank you so much, Veronica, and thanks to all of the moms on board who are watching via Facebook Live or who will get a copy of this video. I have the incredible privilege of serving as your Congresswoman, and I have been your Congresswoman for the last 3 years. My focus has been uplifting El Paso families. It's a mission, and those are my values that I have embraced and used in public life since I served in county government, where I actually first got to work with and collaborate with moms on board, specifically with Adrienne Moody. As I was leaving the county, she was bringing the idea of the All Abilities Park at Ascarate, and I was an enthusiastic supporter of that. So thank you all for your work. I have multiple areas of focus, but I'll break it down in terms of the committees that I serve on. I serve on the House Judiciary Committee, where gun violence prevention and comprehensive immigration reform and DHS oversight and accountability have been my priorities. I also serve on the House Armed Services Committee, where I am so proud that we have led historic reforms to protect service members, especially those who were victims of sexual assault and sexual harassment. I also serve on the Select Committee for the Climate Crisis, where I have been a vocal advocate for solutions to address our climate emergency. I recently went with the Speaker of the House, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, to COP26 in Glasgow, where we talked about solutions. And I have a task force here at home in El Paso made up of local stakeholders, where we are crafting a comprehensive framework for a climate action plan. Lastly, I serve on the House Ethics Committee, where for me, transparency and accountability are paramount. On top of those 4 committees, most members of Congress get 2 committees. I have the privilege of serving on 4 on behalf of El Paso. I have also worked very hard for benefits and support for families, like the child tax credit and other provisions through the Build Back Better Act, which I am determined that we will get past the finish line, which would provide paid family leave and many other benefits for families. With that, I'm ready for my question, Veronica. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you both of you coming and being with us and letting us get to know you a little bit more. So our first question is, what is your biggest priority for families? What bills did you co-author or author, and which one are you most proud of?
Well, there's a number of bills that are the focus for me around families, because I'm a mom. I was a working mom for all of my kids' lives. Thank goodness I have two wonderful, healthy, successful adult children, but I know how challenging it is for families. Number one, childcare. It is critical that we get childcare subsidies to families. Right now in the US, including El Paso, families are paying 30% of their income on childcare. We have a bill in the House that I co-authored, co-signed, and helped get across the finish line on the House side, that would help subsidize childcare for families so that you would not pay the exorbitant amount that you're paying now. Universal pre-K is the second component for me that is really critical to families, because for childcare, your kids have to be a certain age before they're accepted into childcare, but many families need care and support for their small children before that. And that's why universal pre-K is critical. Not only is it a component of childcare, but it is also critical to kids' success. Research demonstrates that children who are participants of universal pre-K and beneficiaries of universal pre-K are more likely than not to apply for college and to be successful in their academic career. Those are two key components for me. The third is the expanded child tax credit. We've had a child tax credit for many years, but this year, House Democrats led on expanding the child tax credit and making it refundable, meaning that you got a check in your pocket or in your bank account every single month. We had that included in our Build Back Better Act. Unfortunately, it's been held up by every Republican in the Senate and 2 Democrats in the Senate. We are now looking at slimming down the Build Back Better Act to focus on family-centric priorities like those that I've identified, and climate priorities. Those are 2 critical priorities for working families, both the child care component, universal pre-K, child tax credit, but also having a planet that we save for our families and our kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answer. And we're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of time to do your closing.
Well, once again, thank you, Moms on Board, for your incredible advocacy for the support system that you've created for other moms in the community. I have followed you all on and been on your Facebook page since your inception. It is really a wonderful service that you're doing for our community. I have been a public servant in El Paso for much of my adult life, not just when I was in elected office, but in the decade before I ever ran for office, supporting good candidates, supporting good initiatives, helping do what you all are doing, which is increase our quality of life and making a better community. I'm a 3rd generation El Pasoan, very proud to have raised my children here, but we have a lot of work left to do in our community. It's a constant growth. A couple of things I want to highlight for you all that I think are important to show my record of service and my record of delivering for El Paso. When I was in county government, healthcare was my priority. And that's why I supported and led the way on building modern world-class health clinics for all of El Paso, regardless of whether you have health insurance or not. It was important to me that especially single parents and parents of children without health insurance have access to high quality health care. That then led into an initiative that I worked on with a group of El Pasoans that came to fruition, and that in fact today we're celebrating a decade of, and that's El Paso Children's Hospital. I am so proud that despite the controversy around whether we should invest in our community or not, that we did, and we now have a wonderful system of healthcare. I'd like to continue the work that I started, and I'd love to have your support.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Escobar, for being here with us. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to our group. And we wish you the best of luck. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. You all take care. Bye-bye.
And we're going to go on with Ms. Delarice Montanez Berrios. Thank you so much for being here with us again. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come and speak to us and for us to get to know you a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some time to do your intro.
Thank you so much. First of all, I wanted to thank you for having the incumbent and myself present on the same forum. I believe that not many endorsement forums or political organizations, even though you're not a political organization, have not followed their national charter rules. But anyway, I start with myself. I am originally from Puerto Rico. I have been in El Paso County for the last 22 years. I have served in the Border Patrol for 21 years, but in law enforcement total 26 years. I started my career as a detention officer, so I work in the jail. Then I became a deputy sheriff, which I work on the streets. And then I became a police officer, and I did a lot of traffic control whenever the kids will go out of school. Parents will drop them off in the morning and pick them up in the afternoon and stuff. And then I became a Border Patrol agent in where I retired back in November 30, 2020. In addition to, I served my Army. I saved my Army, but I was involved with several other armed forces all over the country and all over the world. I served for 29 years as a joint multinational logistician. So I am very familiar with what humans need, especially to survive. It's not just air. Like I say, I have been dedicated to my community for the last 22 years. I am a board member with the Downtown El Paso Lions Club, and I'm also a member with the Zaragoza Rotary Club. I have a nonprofit organization for children between 10 and 17 that assists them with funds whenever they're involved in sport event competitions. They can be regional, national, international, or local, as long as they're organized. And I also have an LLC. It's called Equestrian Holistic Retreat for Those Who Serve Us, meaning US LLC. And what it does is it provides horse riding for children and also mental health services for children, veterans, service members, and law enforcement, because as my slogan says, I am America's Stigma Smasher.
Thank you so much for your intro and for being here with us. So I'm going to go ahead and ask your question, Ms. DeLaurice. What would be your biggest priorities for families if you are voted into the House of Representatives, and what bills would be your biggest priorities?
So talking about families, like I mentioned before, I am huge on mental health services. I believe that this, not just the COVID, but this world in nature have caused a tremendous traumatic shift in children's lives, okay? So I really would like, as a matter of fact, last week I reached out to Senator Blanco. Well, I have reached out to him before, but after like 7 months, they finally returned their call. And I will be talking with one of their staff members regarding passing a bill in El Paso in where we can use equine as a assisted learning technique for children. And it goes, from 5 years old to 18 years old. Also, as a law enforcement officer, I do support the Second Amendment. The problem that I have is I do not believe that everybody can consciously carry a weapon on the streets, okay? I am very concerned about weapon control, especially, let's say that an individual is standing on the line at Walmart and they don't have any training, they don't have any permit, and somebody else that wants to do wrong to the community get a hold of that weapon, they can do a lot of damage. So I do believe in the Second Amendment, but I do believe that it needs to be registered. People have to have permits and people have to have the training necessary. As a matter of fact, it's also a safety concern for law enforcement. So I'm very concerned about my peers. On the healthcare, I am not a mother. I served my entire country for my last 51 years. So I didn't have the privilege to be a mother. But in the last year after I retired, I host a high school student from Franklin High School. She was 17 years old. She's going to be 18 now, as a matter of fact, this coming month in March. And this past week, I actually hosted another child from Morocco. She goes to Canutillo High School. And her mother was in New York working, and I opened my house and I showed her as much as I could on a week for her to be able to go to school, because education is very important to me. Like I say, I have a bachelor of administration, I have a master's, and I really would like to complete my PhD before God calls me from this earth, because I do believe that everybody on earth has a purpose. Some people are meant to go to school, and I really want to push the education with children.
Thank you so much for your answer, Ms. Delarice. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do a closing statement, and we really appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me again. First of all, on my closing, back in 2016, or actually 2018, I voted for Veronica Escobar. I didn't know who Veronica Escobar was, and even though she was a county commissioner and county judge, I didn't have no clue who she was. And I was a law enforcement officer for 21 years in El Paso. So I believe that candidates or elected officials need to get to know their community. They need to, I don't believe in these VIP visits that they do to these public organizations, because as a leader in the Army and you in the school, you know that every time that they say that there's going to be a VIP, they clean the hallways, you know, they do everything possible to look their best. I don't want that. I want to be with the community. I want to see how it is every single day. That's what my dad did whenever he was an educator. He was actually a superintendent of technical schools in Puerto Rico. And he actually went to Ecuador. And that's why his department was very successful, because he wanted to know how things were in reality, not on a 2-hour visit that he did. Also, I wanted to emphasize a congressional representative have 3 main duties. Number 1 is being in the assemblies at the House floor. Number 2 is investigations and oversight over public agencies. And whenever the incumbent talks about so proud she is about being in the Armed Forces Committee and the Judiciary Committee, as we can see, the military and law enforcement first responders are the 2 largest public organizations that have the biggest problems. So in my opinion, 4 years is enough time to direct these agencies to do the right thing, because I remember whenever I was a child, my dad instilled the respect in law enforcement, and that respect at this time in age is out of the window. So I really hope that I have your support. My commitment to you is to be involved in the community whenever I'm not in Washington, and to get the precinct chairs and the county chair involved. And even though I might have a specific idea or a response, I really would like to do surveys and vote for what the people want, not what I want. Because I don't have no personal agenda. I am retired and I can stay at home.
Thank you so much, Ms. Delarice Montanez, for being here with us. We truly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and speak with us and get to know you a little bit more. We wish you the best of luck in this election, and thank you again for being here with us. And to all of our mob members, thanks again for being here with us. Please check out all the other forums that we've done with all the local candidates that are running opposed. And we hope that you can go out and vote. Early voting starts today, so you can vote at any voting station that you would like. Please take identification with you, and we hope to see you out at the polls. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.